right. Greetings, humans. It's your buddy Ingrid Bernal here. Up from the town of Bar, home back to do some more painting. Hi. Let's kick up them tunes. All right. Chilling out with some lo-fi. That's what puts me in my happy spot. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Let me get this set up correctly here. Infinite vision. All right. We are back at side-by-side cam here. I was thinking this would be kind of lo-fi in itself, but turned out to be a really sweet angle. It's really nice to see the hands and stuff. It's like much more like being here. So it's kind of nice. So thanks everybody for coming on back. Hope you guys had a cool Saturday, a good Sunday morning. Nothing quite like Sunday morning to get feeling good. All right. So, hey, here we go. We are back with this Vecna screen, this crazy perspective. Hey, Terrible DM, thanks. So now we got to add in these 4 other villains that Vecna is sort of controlling behind the scenes. Before I want to do that, though, I really do need to get Vecna to feel a little heavier, and I'm going to do that by doing some more black ink. And just to be safe, I'll layer this sucker in case we don't like it, because this is definitely going to be a bold move. But I think that we need some of these. And I think this just help make him a little more of a shadow, and also keep this motion going so that when you're sort of staring at this DM screen, it doesn't wind up sort of letting your eye kind of rest too much. Keeps the eyes sort of sliding, I guess you could say. I wish I knew my proper art terminology. But, kind of keep the eye moving across the piece back and forth. Keep you interested. What a lot of people know that I call this sort of campfire effect that makes D&D so much more pleasurable is something to look at while you're playing. Doesn't have to be a specific map or something, but any kind of visual for a player, I think is just clutch. Same with music. You just gotta have music for a good session. Fitting music, All right, so I'm just gonna kind of do this kind of stuff. And once we're done there, then we're gonna move on to this sort of, really this is just a form of procrastination, because I've got to face this group now that has to be rendered in. And this is a lot of shape and character to capture with this group. And 2 of them are kind of well-known figures you guys will recognize, and 2 of them are original creations from George's campaign, and his players, I'm sure, are not watching, because that would be a loyal of wretched spoiler that is hard to even imagine. Okay, so we need some more movement over here. So you guys can see how this creates sort of movement for the eye. Yeah, and all part of the different skills you're going to learn as you get better and better at drawing, as I hope to someday, is not just your hand skills, but your eye skills, and you're able to see, kind of put yourself in the shoes of someone who hasn't seen this before, and get a response that's relatively reliable. Okay, so we're going to be working on top now of Vecna up into this section here. And I'm going to chill him out and kind of hide him a little bit, like so. And this is mainly so that I can focus on the characters we're going to be doing next. I want to be able to really see the weight and feel how heavy all the lines need to be in the new characters that we're going to be doing. So I have choices here. I have 4 characters that need to be done. So 2 of them, I just Googled the name that I was given and took the first image listed. So we have Cassius the Executioner here. We have Lord Soth, who is an Abyss Walker in this campaign. So he's going to be a bit more like the guy from Dark Souls as far as the sort of faceless hood and cloth, but it's Lord Soth. This one, we're done with that one. We did that part of the piece. So we can put that away. And then we have a priest which is a priestess. No, here's Reyna. She's the priestess. So, yeah, she carries Vecna's spine as her spell casting staff. So that's already pretty cool. Vecna's protege. No real visual reference here, so we're just going to have to invent her. Same with Hierophant Adelmar. So this is a male priest in friar robes, has a bone scepter. And then we've got Battle Axe, Executioner guy, and we've got Lord Soth, my personal favorite. So who should I do first? Who should I do first? I got 4 choices. The Sorceress Woman, Priest guy, Executioner, or Abyssal Knight. There's 2 votes for Soth, pulls ahead right away. Soth is the shit. Thanks everybody for tuning in, by the way. Hankering Fernail here. Greetings, all humans. Soth it is. Let's get into Lord Soth. So we're just going to block the rest of these out of our mind completely. Those don't exist. And here again is where your right brain really needs to come into play. So I've got 2 like armored characters and I've got 2 wizard type characters. So I think I'm going to anchor the outer panels with my armored guys. So again, just being sort of silly and right-brained, I'll put these reference images from Google where I'm going to have them live. And then these other 2 are just screen grabs from the email that George sent me. So I'm just going to, that's how like pixel-based I am. I actually use screenshots of text quite frequently to read things because I just work in pixels. Okay, so let's go on over this section of the screen. And here's our guy. Now, a lot of you at this moment are probably wondering, like, what's the role, or maybe to me, I think it's an interesting topic. Like, what's the role of like grabbing an image off of Google, and then I'm going to have to turn this into my art. So I want Soth to be representative. You know, I want any viewer to be able to recognize that that's Lord Soth. But I'll tell you what I don't want to do, which, you know, I imagine if I were you guys watching this stream right now, I'd be just checking if this is visible. Okay, so I'd be cringing a little bit. Like, is he seriously just gonna like take Soth and get his black pen and just start like whoopity-doo, look at Soth, right? No, I don't want to do that. And if you're looking for a learning tool, like to practice, this can actually be really helpful. Is reduce the opacity on your reference piece, get your pen, and have fun, you know, working on someone else's art like this. See what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, that's kind of how you do a bucket helmet. All right, cool. And, oh, here's how I can do a scarf shape and stuff like that. Absolutely rock on. But as far as like creating and contributing to the sort of art conversation at large, like out in the world, if you're sort of that closely referencing existing art, it can feel like there's a lack of surprise. And then obviously on the worst side, it feels like sort of plagiaristic, right? So my advice is this. This is, again, playing into the right brain. What I want to do is, I guess, in my podcast, what I call soaking. And so for just a second, I'm going to soak this a bit. So I'm just kind of like feeling what I'm going to need to be seeing. Skeletal hands, bucket with a plume, torch, raggy things. And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw this layer away for good. And I'm never going to bring it back into my Photoshop file. Why? Because I want to take an original attack on this Soth concept. And so I don't want to be looking in. I could probably do a better job of like some of my accuracy elements and maybe even perspective if I kept that piece there for reference, you know, like drawing from life type technique. But I don't necessarily want my best technical drawing. What I want is something that feels original, that has a little bit of a different take, you know, like how Soth kind of turned original on us. And what am I doing right now? I'm just warming my hand and my arm up. So I'm not so much worried about predictable shapes. And this is just something that I do to just sort of get my hand to relax. Like there, that feels much more relaxed. Like that, those are great lines. So I'm worried less about like what I'm drawing, and I'm starting to just freely draw happy lines. So that technique works really good for me. So I don't think I'm going to do a full body because I just don't have, if I do a full body, his head winds up being quite small, right? So I think I'm going to do a little more of these portrait feels, and the knights are going to be closer and the wizard's going to be a little further from the camera. And I kind of am feeling like this. So what am I feeling there? I think maybe he's sort of looking down and over here, and there's sort of this curve happening. Kind of, you get that kind of swag kind of expression where you look down your chest, right? So there we go. So I think I'm going to keep those lines, and that's going to be my beginning. And this, I'm just using a little bit of transform tools so I can really feel strong about that opening perspective. So feel that opening perspective right there? Like, I know that neither of us know what really I just drew at all, but now you're starting to get a clue, right? You're starting to see it like what I'm seeing, and you're seeing it in real time along with me. No tricks here. I don't have any sketches or anything. Now, one thing too that I start to see, and this is another thing where you're, wanting to train your eyes as much as your hand. When I look at this, I don't know about you guys, but I feel an energy going that direction. And that's kind of interesting to me because that's like a form of counterpoint, right? If his chest is pointing this direction, you would expect his eyes to be like pointing that direction, right? But for some reason, I'm feeling this energy like these are his eyes. And anytime you twist the head from the body like that, you're going to get a much more interesting pose, and you're going to get that counterpoint. You're going to get a little bit of a surprise, and a little bit of a surprise always will lend some life to your piece. So now it's just a matter of like trying and retrying this line to where I'm satisfied with how badass the bucket helmet is. And there we go. That's about where I need it. Now, I don't really feel I have room for the crown here. So it's just time to loosen up. I'm just starting to get a little bit tight. I don't want to get tight. So here's where I'm just going to sort of let my scribble just sort of take over. It's time to just face the music, guys. And this is like my old piece of advice, which is like, if you want to master sort of getting messier line weight and doing sort of a looser style, your general rule is just to draw everything twice. And on the second time you draw it, let your hand make mistakes. So see that belt line. The second time I drew the belt line, I just let my hand wobble right off what would be considered steady. And this probably flies in the face of a lot of really good art advice, but these are the techniques that I use to get some of this really loose kind of look. So it's kind of cool because he's almost like under some kind of duress force, right? So here I see his hand coming up and his other arm going behind him, right? Because he's twisting in this way. And again, I didn't plan any of these elements. It's just sort of feeling where my lines are leading me and not sort of denying it. And remember, as I say, like as many times as I can muster, I don't pretend to be able to teach anyone to draw or to be able to teach anybody anything. I do my stuff in a very sketchy method that is basically sort of self-taught and kind of breaks a lot of the rules that are useful for good drawing. So try to take my techniques with a grain of salt, will you? Okay, so here's the forearm coming up. I'm seeing the back arm. Remember though, he's got some fabric elements, so maybe his upper arms have a fabric-y feel, and then he's got like an elbow armor thing, and then his lower arms have more of an armored glove. I'm not sure what you mean by a Zeppelin reference. I don't think Zeppelin ever did anything involving Lord Soth of the Rose, if I'm not mistaken. Here, just cleaning out a line that was confusing my eye there. Getting the pauldrons to come together. And then remember kind of what I described on Vecna is usually I'll look for some kind of a motif that I can start to repeat. Now I remember from the drawing we looked at in the reference, he had these rings under the chest of his armor. And I know too, just from my own experiences with Soth, which are not easily counted, that he has a rose in the center of his armor. Right? And for us who can't draw that great, a really good way to draw a rose is always to just draw like a coffee cup with a swirl on the top. And then put a couple wacky little like leafy lines on the side. There you go. And then you just draw those roses like that, like coffee cup roses. You draw a few thousand of them, and before you know it, you'll be a little bit better. Okay, and now we're starting to feel the base piece coming together. So that's going to be the Soth element. So see this energy between the two here? This is something I like. Soth is looking a little on the buff side, though, with this waist. So I want to thicken him up. Don't want him to look like he's, on like a diet type program. That's not right for him. He needs to be, more juggernaut than super fit, like arena fighter. I don't see him that way. But he is a knight, and so we can be knightly with him. If you want him to get a little less yoked, you can always kind of compress them a bit on the horizontal axis like that. But now he's just a little weak, so I like the bigger one. This is almost like a Dark Knight version of him, where he's more grizzled toward the end. He's a little more physical. There we get the head down to we're basically just going all in on him being pretty big. See how that head changed him so much? Wait, there we go. His head's got to sit on those shoulders just so. There we go. So see how much bigger he just got. And then like this, that isn't quite right now. And so a lot of times if you're struggling with a piece, use your transform tools instead of your pen. Transform tools can get you there a little quicker sometimes if you're trying to get those fundamental anchor pieces set. Because remember, the most important thing is that you have fun while you're drawing, because it'll create a positive association in your brain with drawing. It'll help you practice more often, and that's going to make you get better at drawing. So if you need to do whatever it is you need to do, then do it to keep your piece feeling fun to you. And if you're beating yourself up about your piece, some artists definitely have almost a syndrome with disliking their art, and that's kind of where they push themselves, and it works for them. But I like to enjoy what I'm doing the whole way and have fun with it. So maybe that's a crutch for me. I don't know. There we go. Okay. This is his torch, because I remember in the reference image that he had a torch. And the more interested that I get in his upper portion, the less I get interested in his lower. So you see me kind of just almost accidentally moving him down. But this is art, my friends. There are no accidents. All right. I don't really know what's going on here with this arm. It's kind of becoming a mess. It's got two elbows or something. So again, if I'm just what the hell am I doing? I just use my transform tools rather than my pen to get where I feel good. And when I'm really kicking ass, I barely need the transform tools at all. And when I'm in a tougher subject matter, I need my transform tools, and that's okay. This crazy armor pattern of his, it's almost like owl eyes or something. It's got a weird. So we're going to need something to be going on in the stomach and stuff like that. Oh, man, yeah. Water. Got to hydrate. Ernie Cooper, if you mean the Runehammer virtual tabletop, that encountered, that was a victim, it seems like, of the complexities of 2020 as COVID sort of took its toll on my engineer, and I haven't heard from him in a while. So we're just a little bit stalled right there, and we're just hoping everything's okay in his zone. So the silly VTT can wait all it needs to. We just want everybody to be safe and sound this year as much as possible. You know what I mean? We got to stick together, and we got to stay optimistic. It's not enough just to do your part, but also to believe along with the people around you that it's going to be not only going to be okay again, but it'll be better than ever. We're going to learn from this. We're good peoples here on Earth. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to make a better world. It's going to be fucking awesome. All right, so there. Now I'm starting to feel the solidity of the character. Okay, now I'm going to shock you all a little bit. I'm going to shock you. Wait, I got to get the crown first before I shock you. He had like a flanging crown, if I remember right. So again, this is the key reason that you put that reference piece away is that you do your version. Like right now, I could totally get it to be just like the one in D&D, but why not dream my own dream of the blue turtle? Here we go. There we go. Cool. So I'm feeling that. I'm going to put away some of this line because it's sort of breaking up the crown kind of effect. And there is our fundamental look for Soth. He's just using an eraser there to put in a little eye hole just to make sure he feels as badass as I want him to. You know, and then I can see too, I need just a little bit of a lip on this helmet. Yeah, just a little cut there. Yeah. Oh, it's so delicate. There we go. Okay. Plume, yeah, thanks, Fjordnu. What's up, Hoge? Good to see you, man. Okay, so we just go right up here with the plume. And the plume, how did I decide those lines? I think would be a good question of an aspiring artist. I knew I was going to break the tangent at the top of the screen because I want to balance it out with him breaking the bottom tangent. But as far as like drawing hair, smoke, ribbons, fur, and other effects like that, I think it's good to just develop hand skills more so than mind or eye skills, which let you do lines like this. So like crinkly lines. They can also be branches. And it's basically a sort of rhythmic exercise. Like every, A time, you're going to make a, B, C, or D turn. I don't know what that means. But it kind of is rhythmic, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Like that. Dun, 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 dun. You can do spiral the same way. See, and it just gives you a good sense of hand of how to create something nature might do. Lightning, wind, water, fire, hair. A lot of them follow these same kind of rules. What I guess in science you'd call a scale-independent phenomenon. Water at a tiny size is very similar to at a giant size, so on and so forth, because it follows this kind of rhythmic breakup. Okay, anyway, enough about all that. This is getting to be a really boring speech I'm making. I'm probably going to get the hand a little more vertical, but you know what? I got to shock y'all, and I got to walk away here. I don't get to hang out on Soth forever, because real quick, I need to get a sense for the other dudes. See, I'm pretty sure Soth is going to be dope as hell. I'm psyched about that. Looks good. Probably arm him, give him some weapons and some other stuff, but I'm not really worried about it. What I'm worried about is this counterpoint. So I'm not going to draw over there. I'm going to draw right here. So y'all going to see what I mean. So we get to do the same thing. Here's Cassius. Cassius, could you enter stage right, please, my man? Come on in here. Hello. Let's get a look at this guy. What do we got here? Okay, he's got like a very high demonic helm with the high eye holes and the horns. Then you've got a spiky look. He's got a big book, which I assume is the Book of Law. He's like a jailer. Kind of familiar with this character. Almost like Ares or whatever. Not Ares, that's not his name. The guy in Wonder Woman. Kind of getting some vibes like that on this. So I probably want to capture the book. I definitely want the battle axe to be clutch because it's just too dope. I mean, he's the executioner for crying out loud. So the helmet, the battle axe, spike pauldrons. All right. Soaking is complete. I have to walk away. He's also got the skull in the center of the chest. That's all I get. All right. Now to make sure that these guys go together, kind of like a Street Fighter, almost like a character select screen, I'm going to do them together. See, I'm going to draw Cassius right here next to him on a different layer so that I'm living next to it. I got to resist the urge to draw on Soth so I can work on Cassius. So Cassius is bigger, I think, for starters. So there's this helmet that he has, right? That's where we got to start. You know, helmets can be the funnest part and the most aggravatingly difficult part. Because you need to catch that expression, and if the expression is solid, the whole piece will be solid. And if the expression sucks, the whole piece will suck. So it's like no pressure type stuff. And the helmet had a flanging look to it, more like that, like a metal version of an execution shirt. There we go. And then he had the horns, of course. Very historically accurate. Seriously, no one cares about the argument about the historical accuracy of horns on helmets because it's fucking rad. Okay, so if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just repairing my perspective with an eraser. Because like most humans, I'm bad at perspective. It's difficult. So I just get my lines down and then try to get it to where it's good enough, again, to give me a good vibe about the piece so that I feel cool about continuing. So here we're getting our helmet for Cassius. And he's got those very small eye holes. Okay, so amen to that, geek of all trades. Okay, so here he is, and I think he's got a downward look to him. And again, using my transform tools when my confidence isn't quite there on the piece yet. Right? And what am I doing right now? I don't know. I'm using some weird sense of what feels right as far as perspective between these two characters. I love you, Lord Soth. I've been thinking of you ever since that day at the lake. I know. It was beautiful. All right. Anyway, you made me feel like a woman. Is Lord Soth a woman? I don't know. I don't know. Why not? Natalie Portman can be Thor. Then Meryl Streep can be Lord Soth. Guys? Okay, cool. So here's the start of Cassius. We might be able to get him a little more evil looking as we move ahead with some more lines. But not gonna like sweat it. Just want it to be dope enough to where I feel like, ooh, this dude's nasty. And then I'm gonna keep going. So right away, you feel that? My pen feels too small. So I don't want Cassius to get light compared to Soth over there, right? He needs to have the same weight. So one of the things I'm gonna have to do is add some shadows where I can find them. Or what I prefer to think of as heavy lines. Shadows always make me lock up a little bit, like I don't know what I'm doing. But just needing, you know, like heaviness is something I speak that language. And I think a lot of his head might be off screen. And you know what? He's doing the same shit. They're both facing off stage, but looking at one another. And I think the axe is something like this. See how that axe kind of hangs out with some of these other lines here? And some magic starts happening. So both of them are kind of playing with these kind of lines. And that, my friends, is a good thing. Okay, so let's bring Cassius into the realm of the solid here. All right, he's sort of ethereal. So we had spiked pauldrons. I'm a little bored with these spikes at the moment, but I'm just going to get him in so I start feeling him. He had like flanges and he had like oversized armor. Flanges. There I go again. God damn it. Every live stream, I swear. I used to say tropes all the time, and now I say flanges. What the fuck is a Samo flange? Also, please notice, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm hoping to be getting monetization off of all my videos in the near future. YouTube has made it more difficult than ever to do that, so that's exciting. If you'd like to catch up with me, go hang out, check out my podcast on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Runehammer. And more so, lately I've been trying to set aside some of my social media platforms and really focus on Instagram. Instagram I can comprehend. So I've really got my Instagram being much more about my daily creativity, posting my artwork, which I've in the past have been like way too cloistered about it. I'm really going to open up the doors and start, enjoying Instagram and kind of revealing my work a lot more. This is just, I can't. Guys, I just can't. What is this? What is this, Ubers? And I'm hoping to get the Valor Pauldrons? Come on, get out of here. It's not 2007 anymore. So I'm going to hang out right here and I need this to overlap in a way that makes me feel happy before I can move on. There we go. Okay, and now I need the back to be there and have some solidity. A lot of times for a lot of artists, the back is more difficult because it's just not like the superstar. You just don't know the shapes as well. So right there, you see, I just realized I didn't know what I was doing for his armor, so I'm just looking for these key lines. Now I've got this head of this axe to think about. It's got to be cool. So I'm going to take a few tries at it. Try to just let it chill. Hopefully I can kind of get it. Will his hand go up there? It seems like a little silly that his hand would be up there. So whoop, I'm going to grab it. Good old transform tools. Use them when you need them. And we're feeling like that. So his weight's a little closer to the edge of the screen. So that axe is probably going to break that tangent. It's just so big. And he's probably going to live right in here somewhere. And there we go. I think that's about where we want to be. What's up, Ruben? Welcome, man. Thanks for tuning in. Meryl Streep with coal black eyes. Exactly. Okay, so we're rocking on here. Now I just need to start understanding where his lines are going to live and what they're going to be. And he's got this skull here, right? So I can't be forgetting that. I'm going to sort of play up the cheekbones on it a bit to form some armor lines. Maybe kind of go down here, split it apart. Yeah, so he doesn't have any like cloth. And then as for the spikes, I don't know, either big ones or small ones are going to be the coolest. Like here's like a Bowser kind of look to it. See, I feel even that is a little more creative. So I'm going to let that hang out. So here's remember, he's kind of oversized. And let's get a sense of like how big it really goes here. And so it's like kind of there. And then he's got the book. So let's just sort of demarcate that. Here comes the arm, which is holding the bottom end of the axe. And now you're starting to see something emerging here. Only problem is I'm going to have to do this kind of cheesy hand right here. I'm not sure I like that. I don't like that feel for some reason. You can kind of feel how that just ain't right. It's too Liefeld-y maybe, it's just a little too like, oh, I can't breathe, I'm flexing so hard. That's how cool I am. So don't get me wrong, love Rob Liefeld, always did. Love me some Shatterstar. So again, transform tool time to try to find a place where this axe makes me happy. And I think it's going to be right here. There we go. That's where he's relaxing into the weight of the axe. So I just merged that down, and instead of trying to clean all these crazy crusty lines, I'm just going to work with them. Now, a lot of times when that hand is holding that weapon like that, it's like a relaxed hand. It's not just going to be like a block fist. It's going to be like this. See, but I don't want him to look so relaxed. He's just like, hey, whatever. If I drop this, you know, no big deal. I don't. Maybe he's doing the old thumb down the haft kind of thing. So if he did that, he wouldn't want to crack his wrist. So you got to go out here. And you guys are probably getting a little lost in the line mess at this point. I know I am. So it'd be like that. And there's that cuff. This would get knobbier. This lead finger is kind of the bigger one. Or maybe it's coming off like that. No, and coming off is just too relaxed for a character of this nature. So there he's kind of grabbing at it. This should be more curved. You know, you do curves when you're looking down a cylinder, and that's what we're doing. His arm being a cylinder. There's some seams. Here's his elbow guard. Kind of wraps up and around the arm. And we're starting to see some armor come together. God, I feel like that finger relaxes, but just doesn't want to do it, does it? So we're going to figure this hand out. This hand's going to be a little bitch. But that is all part of confronting how good or not so good you are at this skill. You got to know when it's like, oh man, I'm not sure how to do this part. Because then you can look for help. And you know the old saying, the bravest thing ever said was the word help. Like maybe you just see sort of this part. Like he's holding it so, ever so gently like a news reporter. No. See, so I'm just kind of sucking at that, right? And you guys can see, like that's real deal drawing challenge type stuff right there. Like maybe this needs to be here. And then fist him up. But just none of these feel right. So time to go the old internet. We're going to do this. This is real talk here. This is a good one. Just take one of the first ones you find. Just don't make it a big deal. There we go. Now let's just use this so we can figure out what we're doing. See that? There is no shame in doing this. I don't know if someone is telling you this is bad to do or don't do this. There's no shame in it. Drawing is hard. Use tools. There, look at that. That's a good, pretty relaxed hand, and I get my reference. So this time I'm going to follow these lines. Remember, I can't be charging George $500 to do this stinking project, so I need to expedite every once in a while. I'm going to add a little bit of my own flavor here to kind of mix it up. But really, there's what I needed. Get rid of it. There you go. That's all I needed. I just needed a little nudge over the top for a difficult form from a difficult angle. Now I'm feeling better about the piece. To me, it's so much more important to continue to have fun than it is to have some kind of pride that you never had to look at reference. Hey, what up, Lat? Get that ref, yo. Get that ref. Word up. We're going to change this. This perspective has changed a little bit. And you know, if I don't want to do like a ton of fill with my black pen, I'll just go like that with my lasso and just get the initial part of it done real quick. Let's cut off some of the back so we can delineate the back of the axe from the front. Put a little bit of a haft kind of thingy on there. Take my eraser, cut a few notches in the blade. All these are just cues to keep you well informed that he's got a big axe. And I still don't think it's big enough. It needs more mass for sure. You guys are probably feeling that. Like it just goes right off the screen. There we go. There we go. Starting to feel it. I don't know why that got split on the end like that, but it just did. My hand did that for a reason, so I'm going to leave a little tiny split there. And then just sort of play it to form the blade. Put some notches in. Again, trying to get that strong read that this is a weapon. There you go. Okay, we've got the skull here. You got these sort of almost like border decor for the armor. Some big fat rivets. A couple of extra sharp shapes here and there. You just got kind of a pile of spikes and different things. And you don't know exactly what the perspective is on these things because they're kind of behind him and you don't really see them. But you're just giving a nod. And you're building that language and tone with him. Excuse me. Excuse me. I must be allergic to shoulder pads because, woo! All right. I must be allergic to pauldrons, baby, because when you walked in the room, I started sneezing. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. Chilling here, drawing Cassius the Executioner as part of this commissioned DM screen that George Teray has commissioned with me. Just getting a little more serious about Instagram has already led to some new commissions coming in. I love doing commissions. I think they're an absolute blast, especially because you know that this is for a table. And I love making things for the RPG table. Like that is what got me into drawing as a kid. Was drawing people's characters, maps, TMNT. Just doing some shadowing on his Bowser spikes here. There we go. Got a little bit of a transparency breaker. Got to get rid of that guy. There we go. Okay, we're starting to see sort of him come together. So now the big test. Boop, boop. There's Cassius. There's Soth. So Soth should be a little smaller because he's a skeleton. Cassius should be bigger because he's a big dude. All right, we're going to go back to Soth and see how I just caught that reminder. Let's do some fixes. He's a skeleton, so we need like these skeletal hands here. I remember in the piece he had bare hands and they're skeletal. So let's bring that by dividing the fingers up a bit and making them not fleshy. Right, you put these kind of dents in the middle of the fingers and start to feel that skeleton. And it's just a small little piece, but what a difference. Then it starts to tell his story a little more. And now that I'm back in Sothland, you know, I want to play. I don't want to leave Sothland so soon. So let's play with the helmet. Right, like getting some sort of carved motifs into the helmet. You know, and he's always got these rose motifs. So you just draw a coffee cup with no handle. Put a stick coming out the bottom, and you got yourself a rose. All right, there you go, there you go, there you go. See that helmet has a little trim on it there, and his little cheeks of his helmet have a little design on them, little etchings and whatnot. When we get to the color, you know, we'll get that stuff to jump out. He's got like these on the sides, right? Looking good, Sothy man, looking good. Looking like you're getting ready to do some evil deeds and play out your unrequited grief and jealousy and anger and sadness. I really like his character because he's got depth, man. He's deep. He's a long way from the shallows, y'all. All right, so let's go like this. Looking for pauldron lines to finish this up. There's my coffee cup, no handle. Here's my little stem. And then we can kind of play on that motif we did above. How does it go? It goes from bottom, curls, and then around like that. There we go. And then we'll do it again here. So we'll go, and we'll go, and then we'll go, we'll go, although that can't, yeah, it could be just a big plate. Here we go. We'll break that plate up here in a minute. Put a couple little bend joints on it where like he's allowed to have some movement. Undead fancy lad. Okay, great. So there we are. Just trucking along, just drawing a little bit here. Here's his cool torch. He's always got this kind of night watchman kind of vibe going with having a torch. You can check out anytime you like, but Soth can never leave. So I'm just making some of these corners pointy so I get like a more goth kind of feel. Not like Nine Inch Nails goth, but like really should be more room lighting in this castle goth. There we go. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. 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 I get my hair dead. Okay. Get a little line there. For some reason, there just needed to be a line there. This is cloth, so let me get it's soft cloth right there. So we're gonna get a little bit of loving, and then I needed a joint right here. I think just one right up the middle is the most direct way to make a statement. He's got a little like seam thing right there. Here's where his neck wrap comes around, and right away, you guys. Here's again. This is just something I really can't stress enough. If you see something in your piece, no matter what phase of your piece you're in, and you see something that you feel like needs to get done, do it at that moment. It's not because, oh, I'm not doing color yet, or I'm not sure which color I'm going to do there, or whatever. But if you're like, oh man, I want to see that neck wrap of his be purple because it was in the picture, do it. Make another layer underneath your line art. Get a purple color that's somewhat close to what you want, and just color, because if you put it off to later, you know what happens to procrastinating? You're procrastinating. So don't do that. Because, I don't know, anything that has ass in the name probably isn't that good. Okay. More quality programming here on Drunken and Dragons with your host, Ingrid Bernal. But see how there's a little bit of life there? That makes me happy. There's just a little bit of a suggestion that there's more to him. And I start to feel this story, and that motivates me to keep working on the piece and to finish the piece. And like, to me, that is the magic of getting better at things. Not to do everything right, but to have fun. So that your little lizard brain is just going, yeah, keep going. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I feel happy. Make me so happy with all this drawing. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy with my knight who's plagued with despair. It makes me so happy. Okay. Just kicking it here, getting some purple in. You know what I mean? The great purple one. Prince fan, Soth, always has been. So I don't know what I'm doing, but it has something to do with a redder color that's down here somewhere. Redder still here, maybe somewhere. For this. Now, see, that's getting a little bit unicorn, right? So you don't really want to get into that territory. So I think I want to be like somewhere in here with a near red like this. There we go. That's mo better. How do I know which color to pick? That's one thing I can never give tips on because I have no idea what color to pick. Got a little bit of a Magneto color combo going here, which can be good. Just be careful not to overuse it because it's very powerful and works really good. All right. Hey, while I'm here, certainly would like to see his armor take shape, but I haven't really finished the line art for it. Doesn't matter. If I'm in the mood to do some gray fill in, I say do it. Still not dark enough. So I want just a dark, maybe with a slightly bit of warm, like a dark, warm gray. There we go. And this is his base armor color. And then we'll get into how to do armor here in a little bit. Or not how to do armor, just how I struggle through it. There we go. Cool. So there's a nice base color. So now to save a bunch of time, I'm just going to blob this in. Woo! We're drawing with the lasso, baby. We're dancing with the pants off. Yow! Don't want to fill in that purple area. There we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Look at me. Dancing with my pants off. And if you're not this fast drawing with a lasso, don't beat yourself up about it. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. It is a learned skill, not a talent. Okay, now I'm going to lift my gray just slightly for that helmet because I want it to pop foamy. Again, just drawing this freehand with the lasso. If I make mistakes, you know, it's all good. Don't beat yourself up. As Will Smith say, Life's hard enough. Don't kick yourself in the nuts. Okay, then I start to see that color having potential, and I want to mess with it, but stay focused, all right? I want that eye to pop, baby. Oh, and we're going to get into that eye, but for now, I just am like, oh, look at that pop. Look at that pop right there. Let me tell you something about pop. And then we're starting to see that part of the piece. Is your camera out of focus? Is that true, Mark Lewis? Shouldn't be. I kept my settings intact. Actually, that focus looks exquisite. You can see every mustache beard. Tis not clear for me. Oh boy, we got a debate on whether we got good focus here. Oh yeah. I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm just sitting at max. There's absolutely no changes in focus occurring. I think the camera's fine. Okay. A brief digression. So what I was saying about armor is there I've got my next shade up of gray, and so I might as well start playing with it. Look at that. And that was just because I wanted the helmet to pop a little more. But then I just grabbed that helmet color, start doing some of these surfaces with some fun, brighter gray blobs. Again, probably running on some unspoken or undescribable sense I might have for how to do this, but there it is. What is this? 5 bones coming in from Azimuth. Beer money. Thank you, Azimuth. Appreciate that. Keep it up. Will do, man. I'm not, or lady, or both or neither. I'm not near the point of giving up on this lifestyle. I'll tell you what. I've been drawing for decades to get to this point. And I'll tell you, I'm still in a daily struggle of accepting that this is who I am. I guess what some people call like imposter syndrome, right? Where you're always struggling to be, legit in what you do. That's very common for artists. There's that skeleton hand. Oh yeah, man. Look at that pop, baby. Look at that pop, pop, pop. Okay, now I know I want to go a little darker for this elbow, so I'm probably going to find my third gray color, which is right there. See that? It's like magic. And all I did was just dip the color a little bit. I just dropped its intensity a bit, its brightness. No magic involved. Except for the magic of hope, of course. And there, so on that arm, you're starting to see what the armor can be. The Soth is getting a lot of attention compared to old Cassius, but I think that's all right. We're just going to hang out a while, if that's okay with you guys. Hey, Ruben, that's great to hear, man. Thanks for jumping in the readership. One of the all-time most successful RPGs on Drive-Thru-RPG, if you guys can believe that. Absolutely crazy. All right. I seem to remember from the picture that his rings under his chest piece were like golden, not metal colored or silver. And he had some other motifs. See how I just had to bend my coffee cup rose. I think I'm going to give him like 3 roses here. And then there's like the glove joint. Here's the carving underneath, and then the cuff. On the elbow piece, it's got a cuff like that. I feel like I've got a little too much slop in my lines here, so I'm going to do that, take my eraser and give myself a front edge like that. And then we just got all this slop around in here, just craziness going on. Old right brain just like making a mess of everything. There we go. So now we're a little cleaner. You want enough slop to, be human in your energy, but not so much that it's hard to understand what the eye is trying to decipher or see. I think that's a handy way of looking at it. Okay, there we go. So you see what I'm up to here? I'm just like bringing this stuff into focus. The timely humor. There we go. There we go. Okay, and so now I want to show you guys a neat trick. First of all, let's get another armor color. So I grabbed my brightest armor color, and I'm going to go a little further than I normally would upward right now. And there's going to be my highlight. Now, the reason that that's so much different is that's kind of what's going to give you metal. Okay, so before we get into that, let's get this get these colors more worked out on multiple surfaces. So we'll go to the helmet. And like, you should be thinking to yourself, damn, Hankerin, that is so dope, dude. If you're not feeling that, then like the piece probably needs a little bit of consideration, because now we're starting to fly, right? We're just like going after it. Okay, now, just as I started doing that, I caught myself. I need to show you the trick. And we're going to go way in. Why is it every time I try to use non-combat effort, it always seems forced? Probably just because you're looking for too much, or you're thinking it's a neat concept and doing it at a time when you don't need to. All right, check this out, guys. First of all, I'm going to show you how to do this, the magic. So let's see this guy right here, this curlicue that's carved into his helmet. How do you make it look like it's an etching that's carved into his helmet? The tops of the lines have a shadow, and the bottoms of the lines have a highlight. Check it out. Top of line, top of line. This is what I would see as the top, or we could say the right or the top. So here's the top and the right. See that? Then here's the top and the right, the top and the right of the line, So here's the top and the right, just like that. That's it. Then take your highlight color and put it on the bottom of your line. This. Opposite of the shadow you just did. And just like magic, it will look as if that line is cut into the helm. And that's how you do it. Now you can do it with different degrees of gray. So let's like keep going. So here we're doing this one now. So I can grab this and come up just a bit rather than so much and do my bottom and left of my line. Bottom and slightly left. Right and top. Right and top. And you go through all your different lines like that. And yeah, it's going to seem tedious at first, but it's going to be cool. So you're going to do it. So top of line, and then underneath we get that highlight. And there I'm using my same gray to do it. Here I'm going to grab a bright gray. This little thing is catching a light, so on and so forth. This is catching a little bit of bright. This is catching a bit. Here's my shadow. Here's my highlight. On and on and on it go. We're going to stop. Nobody know. Hey, hey. Right, there's the bottom of the line, so it's bright. The top of the line gets the shadow. It's like magic. Look at that. So especially when taken in aggregate, this will start to create this feeling of like light being on the metal. So remember, on the bottom of black, you want highlights, and on the top of black, you want shadows. And it makes things start to jump out. A little trick you might find handy. Yeah, good stuff. Cool. And we're going to do a little more detail, but we got to do some due diligence here first. So highlights on the left and bottom of these lines, shadows on the top and the right, like that. Whoop, and whoop, whoop. It's also cool if you can cross a color through a boundary, just like that. So see, like this line just crossed into its neighbor color. This line crosses into its neighbor color. It's always going to give you a neat effect. Like it just feels natural on the eye, I think. What are these lines? I don't know exactly, but They're happening. We're doing it together. Some highlights here. So you guys kind of see how I'm applying that concept just with a loose mindset on all these different lines and carvings. And then you can start to use colors too to imply more carvings than you really just did in black, right? Because the black ones are really, really bold. So you can use grays to kind of say, don't worry, there's more carvings inside this helmet than you can see, without making it kind of, you know, disrupt your shapes. And that's kind of your finished effect that you're going to get, except our old buddy Super Bright over here, who's going to come in and stomp all over the party to create some metal highlights. Like how? Metal has very focused specular highlights, so you only need a little bit, and you get that look. Now I'm feeling like, dang, the left side isn't quite dark enough, because I want that definition. So let me get my darkest color and come in and do this. And again, we're squashing a little bit of our work, but that's okay because it's for the greater good, humanity. There we go. See that? Kind of bring that darkness where it needs to be on that side of the helm. Cool. Now you're starting to feel the magic there. Got a little bit of a weird tangent here, so I'm going to cut it that way rather than the other way. Nope, it's got to be cut vertical. There we go. Sweet. Hit Control Save, because saving your work is for cool people. I think that Soth is a lot cooler than Darth Vader because Darth Vader freaking sucks. He's an a-hole. And I don't know why he hogged 3 of the movies. Plus, he's just a freaking jerk. I don't know who got it in their mind that they thought he was the main character in Star Wars, but they were just completely, utterly, in every way misguided because he's the biggest jerk in Star Wars who makes terrible choices and shows no responsibility for his terrible choices. Poop on you, Darth Vader. Poop on you. Killing the younglings. Ridiculous. All right, now I know that I'm going to have a torch going, so let's just get something rough in. Again, more so I can feel it than so I can be supreme. There we go. So you can feel some of this magic here. Oh, hells yeah. What you talking about? What you know about that? So I just want to get some shadows feeling strong now. What you know about this stuff, huh? What you know? And don't worry, we'll get some light coming off that torch. We get some really light, again, is a word that intimidates me terribly. So I think of it more like we'll get some color to pop off that torch. Light is just such an intimidating concept as an artist. Just like, I don't know how. I cannot. All right. Here we go. Now remember, those were brass. And so if we're going to get into brass, we have a whole set of probably like brass, dressing elements that he's going to have. Excuse me, Lord Soth, your brass dressing elements are here. Thank you. Where's my brass underwear? It's in the warehouse with the rest of your DJ equipment. After our trip to London, you insisted we bring nothing home but leave it in the city of fog. All right, I think that's enough of that. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. There we go. I got the little monkey and I got a little man. I've got a monkey and he's got a nice plan. Live a lifestyle of love and affection. If you're gonna roll a fighter, you best roll protection. Shield warriors, what's up, dudes? Okay, I'm gonna get a little smaller pen here, and I'm gonna do some extra carving stuff. Again, just like playing. I'm not really worried about what each of these designs are or what the hell I'm doing. Just playing with it. Just have a good time with it. Feeling a highlight happening right there. Feeling a larger one here between these flower etchings. Oh yeah, look at that tasty highlight on the cuirass, the hauberk chest plate. See how that starts to feel like, whoa. I like your drawing, but I like the singing more. Well, that hurts a little bit considering the amount of practice needed for the one and the other. The one requires a lifetime to improve at, and the other is just nonsense. All right, so we are going to put a yellow that's not quite that intense into the fire. Really, those should be the only couple colors. We might need a little red for it, but should be keeping it real simple because it's a slippery slope when you get into a lot of color. Okay, anyway, I don't know what that comment means. Disregard that comment. I hate the term slippery slope anyway. It's cheesy. So you guys are probably going to hear me say that more than I want to say it. But saying slippery slope is in itself a slippery slope. No. All right. Oh, we like the slope. That slippery slope. Oh. Hanging out with the Pope. That slippery slope. Ba 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 da. Do 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 ba do 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 do. Why do I do these things to myself? Actually, really, I'm not the victim of my singing. It's the world. So this piece of cloth back here is feeling just too foregroundy, so I'm going to darken it down just like this. Just push it back by darkening. And that worked. Same with this pauldron here. And this little elbow chunk. They just need to go back into the background more like that. You want that chest to have that sort of I'm up front slope to it. And he has this kind of going up to the Gorget style of chest plate, which is I prefer a lot. They hurt your armpits a lot less. I didn't turn up the brightness at all. It could be that my backup light is off. Here. How's that? That might dim down the image of the... Okay, let's get into the brass. We're going to have to confront it sooner or later. Now I'm going to show you another trick. So sometimes if you're looking for a new color set, you don't know where to begin. You don't want to just open up your color picker and just go for it like you know what you're doing. So go in here, grab your area, go to colorize, and just start sliding around, man. Just look for something that calls to you, that feels cool to you. Like there I am. So now I have 2 of my colors already. Now grab this color, go back to my picker, and then turn it way up, and there's my highlight for like a brassy color. So you see how I did that without really knowing what I was gonna do? And that can give you a lot of relief when you're having, those either the jitters or the hesitation with something as difficult as picking color. Don't be shy with them tools, though. You know what I mean? All right, so now I'm just going in and I'm like trimming his armor with brass. And like, what are these little cells? These are all just areas that I had drawing accidents while I was composing him. But I'm not worried about that. I'm just going with it and letting it be. I don't think he has any brass on his helmet. Maybe just his visor. Yeah, his visor is brass. That's pretty cool. Like that. Then I take this crazy highlight color that's very bold. Kind of come in here and do some little random ideas. like that. And you start to feel that magic, right? I mean, I am. Here's the cuff on the armor. I'm going to go with brass. There's a little highlight on it. I think this is just a darkness right here. Nope. It's good how it was. It needs dark gray, though. There we go. Dope. Looking dope. Looking dope. So right now, there's one thing that I'm feeling, which is like it's a little clean. So I'm just going to let my hand wander around a little bit. And, you know, who would have thought that you would want to say that about your drawing? Like, it's just a little clean for me, right? You'd think like, oh, well, hell, I use pencils and all kinds of other techniques to make sure it's clean. Not always. Sometimes mess is the magic of a piece. Maybe not the magic, like with a capital T, but it's part of the magic that gives it energy and movement. Like there, I like that a lot better already. Especially when you look at how Vecna is rendered. And he's looking pretty cool, right? So I want to kind of pull some of this back. So you guys know my trick. I just go, I grab it with my lasso like a cheese ball, and I just punch it down a bit. Oops, I'm not on my color here. And that's why I hate layers. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. Oh, I moved his front piece back, so I can't be doing that. So it's just this tacit armor back here needs to darken. There we go. That's what I needed. Darken that tacit. What you know about that tacit, though, peeps? Also, his cape needs to be more a part of the piece. And we've got some simple versions we could do to give him cape. We got some complex ones. So simple would be this whole space is just filled with cape. This requires me to do no more line work. Bang, cape, right? But I think we're going to need a little bit of cape over on this side. Cape Fear. So that's what we're going to have on that side. So I'm just going to fill it in. So you see what I mean? I just drew some, I don't know what I just drew. It's just a little curly Q that looks like a sort of a brontosaurus. But you know, if you've drawn a lot of brontosauruses, you're going to feel comfortable. And that comfort's going to be your friend. All right, so now go to my line work, and I'll just line this in. So I basically committed heresy right there because I'm doing my colors first. And then I'm going to line work them in. But, you know, why not, right? Just adapt to it. Just go with it. Why not? This is your world. Have a good time in it. You know, when we're out in the real world, that's when we got to do everything by the rules. And thankfully, there's no Lord Soth to smite us with his torch of eternal sorrow. Get the threadbare effect on the cape, okay? So he's got some damage on the cape. So that means just damage in this kind of art style really just means you need some line work. You can do some little stitches where he's kind of fixed some of this stuff. You can do little holes like that, and we'll delete that out. Some of these, you know, lines and black bits equal oldness in this world, in this style. So you just kind of play with your lines like this and add mess to them. You know, put a hole in it. So then how do I do a hole? Well, first of all, get rid of your extra lines. It's not there. I do believe I'm drawing black on my color layer, so that's against the rules, but honestly, I don't care. Back to color, clean this up. There we go. So there, so he's got some raggedness there. Good idea. Talroth, good thinking. So there we go. And that is, I wouldn't say quite just complete for him, but we're really getting close now. And I'm feeling like I want something here. Something is not fulfilling me completely on the skeletal hand. And also we need that torchlight we were talking about, right? And I also just need to sort of zone out a little bit and like chill for a sec. just get inside this little space here and just kind of live for a minute. Give myself a little reward, you know what I mean? So I'm going to grab this orange. I'm going to go into my ink layer because of heresy. And I'm just going to do these little niddly bits, little jubba-doos around here. And this is just like the cheesiest, simplest way to do like rim lighting or torch light. You just throw the color a little bit. Just throw the color out into the nearby space in a way that feels intuitive and fun. And don't get into the whole, at least for me, I don't get into the whole thing of what would the light really be and all this stuff. Just sort of think in a much simpler way. Just like that. That's all I really wanted. And even these are like a little distracting now, so I don't think I need those. But there, it's like just this little bit of light coming onto the armor. Yeah, this is your world, you know, have a good time with it. Like, let yourself be happy as you work. There's enough difficult things going on in the world, you know what I mean? This should be a happy place. So I noticed that this purple shouldn't be underneath the pauldron here, so I'm going to get my darkest gray, which is down here in this. And this is a sort of an underneath space. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Wonderful. Got a little bit of sloth right there. A little bit of sloth, a little bit of mess, a little bit of slop, if you will. A little bit of hooty and a little bit of cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Boom. 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 Oh yeah. We kicking it with Lord Soth. Lord Soth got really soft wings like a moth. Shit is soft. Oh. He got the purple cloth. Make some noise for my man. Lord Soth. So there we go. This is a commission, Venta Black. You know, and sometimes my commissioners will actually ask me to or encourage me to, you know, give away or hand out or sell the product of their patronage. I just leave that up to them. I try not to pressure them on that front. Okay, let me fix up some of the missing red here. Remember, we needed this sort of blood red. And then I also just want to ding up the armor a little bit. So I'm going to take the gray and I'm just going to start. Some of them are light gray, some of them are dark gray. That's an official sound too that you're going to need to learn if you want to do art. I'm here for the Stanford art test. Could you please make a small sound and your merit would be decided. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Didn't need that. Didn't need that song, that skit, or that highlight. Ooh, there, that highlight really locked in the visor. I'm feeling really good about the helmet. I think it's pretty badass. Looking cool. Like so simple with just the one eye, but the slight underbite, it's working out. I'm tooting my own horn a little bit so I can be happy. Just given this line draws so much attention because your eyes will always go to the eye of a character first. So you really want to get like a slam dunk feel at the eye. A lot of times it's where the viewer will decide if they like the piece or not, is the eye. Just right away, they'll just make this like snap judgment. Like, I hate this. You're a terrible artist. And I'll be like, I know. It's so weird. And they'll be like, I'm going to piece you out, bro, Cephas. And I'll be like, word. And then that's that. I need one more darker tone right here. How do I know that? Don't know. Just do. That's good. That's good. That makes me happy. These purples are further from all of the front than everything else. So as much as I love the colors being the same, I'm going to have to bring them down to put the cape more behind him, like that. And then actually this one's even less colorful and darker than the one on the left, so that arm will come forward. So desaturate it just a little, pull it down, desaturate, pull it down, like that. So that arm comes into the front. That's a little too grim though. I don't like that. It makes me sad. I'm going to stay right there. Cool. Another thing you can do if you want to see some of this come up is do a cheese ball highlight like we did on Vecna, but only at the end of things. Be very careful with this next tool because you think it's going to like solve all kinds of problems, but really it just causes them. So I'm going to get my little gradient tool. I'm going to get like something down here. I'm going to do like a highlight. So I need a real chill kind of color. Yeah, like that. So see all it is? It's like running basically a contrast pass on those colors to pop them. And there you go. You got to be really careful with gradients though, because they'll become a crutch and make your art look weird, and they're not that cool. Oh, I'm feeling it. Okay, I need some speckles and freckles now. Like, why are these little bits here? I don't know, because it's what I do. It's part of my style. There we go. And you know, I don't know if he needs a lot of, so let's just imagine we're looking at this part of the screen. Vecna's going to be like here. And so you see, you start to feel that. So that's actually, that gives me an idea. So remember what I said, doesn't matter what order you're working. If you're kind of doing things like I do, if you see something that needs to get done, just do it right away. And this is what I'm seeing, a big sort of hole in the overlay. So what I'm doing up here on the top left is putting a massive feather on my lasso. So my lasso is going to be extremely soft and feathered. And I want to bring sort of Vecna's head back into the game. Like that. So see how it's feathered out? But I don't want it to be just gone. I want it to be slightly less gone. So I need to feather it even more. So I can kind of do like this. See, it'll give me that warning. And there we go. That's almost all I needed. Just that little click. So if you want to see what I did in clarity, you see that? You can see how there's just a little bit of a feather reduction there to bring his sort of head out. And we're going to do more of those later toward the end, but we got work to do first. Yeah, we're coming up on an hour and a half. So that was about an hour and a half to get Soth in. I estimated about an hour per character. So we're not doing bad at all. You know, Soth was pretty complex. He had armor and whatnot. So we're relatively close to budget. The next time you see this painting, here, let's bring this back up so we can focus on Soth. The next time you see this painting, this drawing, hey guys, it will be complete. You'll probably see it on Instagram, maybe on the Runehammer Discord. I'm going to get out of here because it's Sunday night and I want to hang out with my girl. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Another 100 wackos and nut jobs chilling with me tonight. Really appreciate you guys kicking it for some drawing. Would you look at that? My name's Ingrid Bernal, Hankrin Fernell, that's me, Brandish Gilhelm right here. Thanks for kicking in on Drunken Dragons, and watch for me popping up now and again. It's usually on the weekends to do drawing streams. We're going to do some design streams, and there's a couple of big publishing announcements that are coming up. So I will see you guys on the internet. Have a great Sunday night, and most def, get yourself a beautiful next week. Take care of one another. One love. Keep it real. All that good stuff. I'll see you guys around, okay? All right. Till next time.